writers. Today I want to teach you that writers often divide their story into three parts or chapters. And this makes it kind of easy for them to organize their thoughts. The important thing is, though, that they have to write those parts in order. We have talked a lot about the beginning and the middle and the end of the story. And now we're going to look at it maybe a little bit differently. Still the beginning, middle, and end, but we'll have a little bit more information. So if we look at those parts and we say the first one is the beginning, chapter one might be the beginning. Chapter two would be the middle or the trouble. Okay, and I'll give you an example in a second. And then chapter three is the end or fixing the trouble. Okay, yesterday we talked about Joe, and Joe got a new bike from his grandpa, and well, it was super cool, and we had all these details about the bike and the special horn and the light, and that he crashed and he ruined his bike. All right. Well, I have a different story about Joe, and this is obviously before the crash. So this is a chapter I would put in my series of one of my series books. I'd put that in before the crash. But this one is Joe and the lost bike. And what happens is Joe takes his bike to the store, and he's got his new bike, he's got his new lock for it, and goes to the store and he forgets to lock the bike. So he goes in, he grabs his treat, and he goes outside after paying for the treat, and he sees that his bike is gone. Now that's our problem. The bike is gone, and he looked everywhere for it. He looked up and down the street. He couldn't see it anywhere. Now, Joe is sad and he's afraid. What are his parents? What is his grandpa going to do who bought him this bike? All right. Should he lie and say someone stole it from him? Should he lie and say something else? And Joe decided it was much better to just tell the truth. And so he decided to go home and tell the truth and try to figure it out with his family instead. Okay, so I wrote my story, and one of the things, um, one of the things that we can do now is try to be creative with our chapters. So here I had chapter one, where Joe took his new bike to the store. He was excited, so excited that he forgot to lock his bike up outside. So chapter one, I said, don't forget the lock. That was my title for my chapter. Chapter two, after Joe bought his treat in the store, he went outside. His bike was gone. Joe looked up and down the street, but he didn't see it anywhere. So I titled chapter two, It's Gone. In chapter three, Joe was sad and afraid. What would his parents and grandpa do? Should he lie and say someone else stole it? He decided to tell the truth. So I labeled my chapter three, The Truth. All right, so what I would like you to do today is think of your new character, and it can be a story anytime about that character, and see if you can come up with a beginning, a middle, or a trouble that your character gets in. Remember, to be realistic, it has to be something that might really happen. Would somebody really get a new bike and a bike lock and take it and then forget to lock it? Yeah. And could it get stolen? It could. All right. And how he's feeling. So really try to think of that middle or trouble. And then an ending, how the trouble got fixed or the problem got solved. All right. So that's my challenge for you today, is to write your new story trying to think about those three things. And you can just pause it right here so that you can see those things up on your screen. Have a good time writing today.